All right, so
It's
everybody
a fair
here,
trade.
the MCU has been around for like, I don't know, 16 years or something now, but
Three,
before,
four hard.
right, but before we had the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they were still making these Marvel films, and Daniel, today we're going to
Right.
watch one of those.
Yeah. Oh, I really like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. Kind of started it all. Really, that was kind of like the
Yeah.
blueprint, the formula. We were talking about that last week.
And that's a
That would make
great
sense,
one, but we're
right?
not watching that one.
Well, I guess technically X-Men was before that. Even so, the
Maybe.
first Fantastic Four was also, I think on the
Yeah,
on
but we're
the
not
verge
watching
same
either of
time.
those.
Really? Well, what was the first one?
You're
Was
getting
it?
there. Just keep
Oh, it
going.
was. Well, it was Blade, right? Because that wasn't even 2000s. That was in the 90s, right?
Right,
So
right. Not that
had to. I
one.
mean, Wesley Snipes. It's a classic. He had those cool tattoos
This is actually a movie directed, not directed, but produced by esteemed filmmaker
by
George
Wesley
Lucas.
Snipes. Oh,
George Lucas. George Lucas.
George Lucas?
George Lucas, yeah.
Really? George Lucas?
Yeah. Do you know what films George Lucas has made?
Um, who made Star Wars? What's the main character in Star Wars?
Howard the Duck.
Luke kissed his sister.
Howard the
George
Duck.
George Lucas wants to kiss his sister.
Howard the Duck.
So we're watching Howard the Duck, the first Marvel film ever created. Mark, man.
And we back.
We are back.
We're
Here we are.
Howard the Duck, man.
How are the ducks? They're all right. They're okay. I've seen better.
I've
Um,
Howarded more. You know what I'm
I
saying?
haven't. Um, but
I okay. So we're Howard the Ducking, where this
yeah,
movie
we're. I mean,
was.
it had to be done. We're doing
It did have to be done
what we're
at some
doing.
point. You know what I'm saying?
What are
Like,
what are we doing? What were we calling this sweep?
I think just pre MCU Marvel sweep.
Right, but it's more than that. It's like it's pre-2000s even.
Right, because there's a different pre
Um,
MCU Marvel sweep
there's yeah,
that's
we
not
got a lot.
this. But this one,
Right.
like, okay, we last week we watched Captain America 1990. If you haven't listened to or seen that episode, go check that one out. This is a different animal
Well, yeah, it's a
from that.
duck.
That's
The other one's a man. The
wow.
other one's just some guy. This one's a duck. This one's a little guy and duck. He's
This
inside
for
of a duck.
sure, like without a doubt, undeniably, had a much larger had a much larger budget
Yeah,
than
well, it was
1990 Captain America.
this was a Lucas brainchild and money child
Right, but this is
and
a real
money
movie for the.
attempt. Yeah, no, I'd say it's a very George Lucas movie, but I'd say it was a film. It felt
Mm.
and looked like a real movie. It followed the plot structure of a
Yeah, sure,
film.
sure,
I like it hit all the points in very weird ways, a lot of weird garbage nonsense in between, a
for
lot of
sure.
just like I mean it was more than anything it was an 80s movie, I think. I think
Mm.
it was heavily a product of its time, and also I wish George Lucas was dead.
No,
uh
it's weird because the pacing of this movie is very strange. Not necessarily bad. It's not good. It's just
yeah,
weird. This movie is paced very strangely, I guess is the best way to
it's
say it.
it's I mean it's very like we said, like all these 90s early late 80s early superhero movies, they're quick to the jump. They
Very.
don't waste any time at the beginning, but then
But then they waste it
then they
about
waste
45 minutes in. That's where we're
all of
getting
the
that wasting time. We're going to
well, yeah, well
waste the whole middle of the movie.
they have to hook you at the beginning, because they're
Mm.
like, okay, it's we're entering the computer era. attention spans are fading already. Like they knew they had to start strong.
Was that as
So
big
they're
of a concern in
I don't know. I'm
1986? For
waffling, bro.
sure not.
I don't know.
For sure
But the
not.
point is they start I don't know if we can say strong, but they start interesting. They start in the shit of it, in the muck of it,
Mm,
in the duck of it.
mm.
And then they don't really have anything else before they get to the climax. They're just kind of edging their way through the rest of the movie.
Right, right, right,
um,
right, 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 right.
but I think
Lots
it's
of
fine with this
good.
one because there's just it's a talking duck, so it's
Right.
just even when it's boring, it's kind of fun because it's just like
He's
he's just a
still Howard the
duck.
Duck, regardless of what's happening.
Right. He's
He
just a
is and
silly
will
little
be
guy,
Howard the
you
Duck.
know?
I don't know. This movie, I think, and we'll kind of give
Uh,
our thoughts at the end of like should you not.
mhm.
This movie has kind of a history. It's
It has a lot more of a history than I think either of us expected or knew about.
for sure. Well, I more meant
Um,
like it kind of has. It's talked to
well,
death
it's
online,
sure, yeah. It's a lot of things. I mean, it was the first, like we said, the first theatrical Marvel movie,
right? Ever.
and it's just such a strange way to start with like just
Yes.
with Howard the Duck in general is a very very weird start out the gate, but it's also just even. And I don't know shit about Howard the Duck. I mean, he's a talking duck. He does quack foo. That's all I got. So
Is
I
that
don't
a
know
comic
how.
thing? Is Quack Fu a comic thing?
I don't know. I'm saying that
Hmm.
from the movie and the
Right.
IMDb plot synopsis, but
Right.
so I don't know, Howard the Duck lore,
Right.
but
I know he was in the
but
after credits of the Guardians of the
I
Galaxy,
know
and
he's
then
been yeah, I think he's been in like some sort of role in like most of the Guardians movies. He's just like a little silly goofball.
a
He was
little
like smoking a
CGI duck,
just yeah, I think he's Chris Griffin in the new Guardians. It's Seth Green, right? It's Chris Griffin.
maybe.
Seth Green.
I don't know, dude.
Well,
Maybe.
Seth Green's Chris Griffin, right?
Right.
That's
I don't know that he's
I'm getting
Howard the
at least
Duck.
that. I'm pretty sure he's Howard the Duck. Maybe I'm just
Ah,
saying that because he's like
red.
yeah. So
This is going
as
well. This is
as I
going
was
real well.
saying, this movie's fucking weird.
Yes.
Is the
Okay.
point I'm trying to get out within the context of Howard the Duck is obviously a fucking weird character. It's a talking duck.
Right.
But this movie is it's
Yes.
it's
No, keep
it's
going.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same as like we've said with Scooby Doo, the James Gunn first film and first Ninja Turtles film. Like we've said about those reference.
Right.
um
Are you doing okay?
is it?
Are you are
um
you getting through this? Are you getting through this conversation?
what was I talking about?
Okay. So
But
this
yeah, where it's that weird mix of being adult film and also made for children. But
right.
this one's much more extreme, almost on both ends.
For sure.
Where it's, I mean,
Yeah.
at least on the adult end, because this, I don't know what the rating of this movie is, but
PG.
it's really not even
Yes.
the 13. I mean, 80s PG
This was
this was pre
before.
PG 13
Yeah.
existed, yeah. So PG was just PG 13,
Well,
but
PG was anything between
it
G
was,
and R.
yeah, right,
But
right.
so and part so I think the best way to compare the best like okay, it's a Marvel movie, like something to compare it to modern day. The closest thing I could think about is if you were around in 2014 before the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie came out. You've got this
Yeah,
it's a Marvel movie, it's a superhero movie, but it's about characters that no one has ever heard of. Nobody
right.
knows about them. One of
It's a
them's a
superhero movie, but
raccoon,
it's
one of
weird.
them's a
Yeah.
tree. Like, what is going on? And then that movie comes out, and James Gunn did a really good job. He made a really good movie. It's great, whatever. This movie is much different. because it's the same concept, right? Oh, here's this really strange, odd comic book story. We're going to turn it into a movie, but then this one sucked. So it's like, and I don't know. From what I can tell, I tried to do some research. I couldn't find any evidence of reshoots, but Daniel's right. Like, it's this perfect example because we talk about it all the time, like a movie that's made for no one. This is
Right.
like this movie feels like it's made for small children. The dialogue feels like it's for small children. The action feels like it's for small children. I mean, it's a talking
Hmm.
duck, dude. It's a
It's a
talking
talking duck.
right.
Yeah.
It's a talk. So, like,
But
sure, if it
then
was made for small children, I get it. Apparently, the Howard the Duck comic book is sort of like Deadpool, where
it's
it's more of like a
where he's
mature.
that's kind of what I would imagine. Like I feel like it's like, you know, he looks like a silly little kid's character, but then he's like, he's saying he's cursing and he's
Smoking
it's like a
cigars, right?
he's like doing he's like a Disney character, but you wouldn't see that on the Disney Channel. You
Right.
know, he's like having sex with babes and stuff, you know. He's like a
Yes, exactly.
just like a duck guy.
Right. But in
Just a
this
talking duck,
movie,
dude.
they don't hit that for sure. He's
But
this.
they also do almost like they try to,
They
because they
try.
have him working at a brothel and he's like looking at the playboy, the play duck.
Right.
Um
In the
and
first
he's
five
got
minutes
the
of this
duck
movie, we
titties.
see two
There are
different sets
two
of duck
pairs of duck
breasts,
breasts. Yeah.
and not they weren't being
Which is
cooked.
right.
They were on ducks.
Which is strange to say the least,
It's
you know.
strange to put in a movie. Period.
Yeah,
Much stranger
definitely.
to put in Howard the Duck.
I see, kind of. Yeah. I feel like that almost makes sense if this movie didn't feel like it was for children.
Right. What I think it might be, if anything, as opposed to just like, oh, they reshot it to make it more
No,
adult
I
or
don't think it
more
was reshoots. I think it's just George Lucas is a crazy man.
right. George Lucas is a crackhead. George Lucas doesn't know how to make a
Right.
movie. It almost feels like the
Right.
kind of thing where they made this and they were like, "Oh, we're going to make this super edgy adult comedy about a talking duck," right? It's
Hmm.
this edgy
But
talking
then
duck
George Lucas
comedy.
is like a child.
Maybe, and also on top of George Lucas being a child, it's almost like the studio's like, "Hey, I love your idea. Tone down the adult stuff a little
Right.
bit." Maybe even in the script phase. I don't
Could be,
know.
yeah.
But definitely there was something going on where they were like, "All right, tone down this duck stuff." No, not the duck stuff. Tone down the adult stuff.
Tone down the fuck, tone up the duck, you know? Like I mean that's what's up. That's what's real. And I get why they'd say that, but I think I don't know. Like I don't like George Lucas. Like I like some of the Lucas songs, but what the fuck does he know about a talking
Ducks.
duck?
What does he know about
You know?
ducks, you know?
I like some of the Lucas movies, but what the fuck he know about a duck?
So Howard the Duck,
Um
let's jump into the plot
I
here,
guess yeah, let's break it down. So it starts on Duck World, we learn is the name of this.
which is such a
Um
stupid
which
in
is it's dumb, it's comic book, it's
Washing Duck DC.
is that do they say that?
It's on his driver's license, I think.
Mm, that's yeah, it's very very dumb, very stupid.
The United
So
States of
he's
some duck pun, but I didn't get the pun,
yeah,
so
it's going through just like showing various Duck World things. He's like going through Duck TV channels, showing Duck movie posters. There's like a Raiders one that says Breeders, and it's like a duck.
it's Breeders
I
of the
don't
Lost
really
Stork. They're
right
breeding
that
storks.
because like storks babies, you know, they bring the
Maybe.
baby.
Maybe.
That's where babies comes from. I don't know if you know this, but babies come from when a man loves a woman, the stork can sense that love and it brings them a baby.
I thought it was
Um,
sex.
what is that?
You know.
Man, we we just watched Howard the Duck. What the fuck is sex, bro?
We're here recording a
uh,
podcast talking about Howard the Duck, bruh. There is
brother,
no there's
this is
not
a
happening.
semi-pro film show. We ain't got no sex here. What the fuck you talking about, man?
True, true, true.
So yeah, he's on Duckworld, showing all the duck things, looking at a play duck porno magazine. Um, then a big alien quantum space laser
Oh,
sucks him.
the duck planet is literally called Duckworld. Howard the
Yeah, it's
Duck lives on
Duckworld.
Duckworld. One word.
Howard, his full name we learned Howard T. Duck, presumably T for the. He is
Right.
Howard the Duck. Point is, he's a really goddamn stupid character. Like he's so goddamn dumb.
It's one of those like it's almost one of those like
Uh,
Ninja Turtle esque things where it's like
right,
this is a
right.
really stupid concept, and
Hmm.
the difference is with the Ninja Turtles it wound up working.
Yeah,
Here it doesn't.
right.
Somebody was
And I'm sure
really
maybe like
high on
maybe
cocaine.
maybe some nerd would could tell me like, oh, Howard the Duck comics are actually like they're really cool and
They're actually
interesting, and they
no,
do.
actually, like you don't get it. Howard the Duck
And
is really smart.
and like I could maybe believe that. Like I could believe that
You don't have
that
the brain
Howard the Duck.
capacity. You don't have the brain capacity to understand Howard the Duck.
No, actually, you literally couldn't. You don't have the IQ to comprehend the intricacies of Howard the Duck. Um,
Howard be ducking though, bro.
yeah. And Howard do be ducking, so he gets
And
sucked out of his chair.
also gooning.
He gets sucked off in his chair. He is
You said that in the while we were watching when he pulled out the playbill or play
right.
duck.
He was gooning. He was edging. He was edge maxing.
And that's what sent him to planet Earth,
Some would say,
also
yeah.
known as Man World, which they don't say that, but that would be the
Arguably.
implication.
Yeah, but he gets sucked out of so he gets like
Yeah, he
sucked
does,
through
bro.
he gets
Yes, he
he
does.
gets sucked he gets sucked and blown so he's getting like sucked through his duck apartment building. This is when we see
The
duck
second.
titty paired number 2
We're three
of
minutes into this movie.
duck breasts no cooking. Yeah, this is like 4 minutes in. He's getting sucked to another dimension or planet at least. And then so yeah, he gets sucked into space. It's great, very solid visuals. ILM, of course. Looks good. He's getting sucked through space. Then he goes through space, and then he's getting sucked through another wormhole to Earth. We see his duck planet. It looks like an egg.
It
That's
is egg
funny because
shaped.
he's a
That's kind of
duck.
quirky because he's a
It would have
duck.
been it would have been funnier if they just called the planet like egg
I
or like some other word
I would have gone
for egg.
with
Like
dearth. That's what I would have called it. Duck Earth.
that's fucking stupid and dumb, and I hate you. But I get it. I personally would have gone with egg because it looks like an egg.
He
Um,
also Howard the Duck also doesn't know the term Cleveland, even though they probably have some
right.
duck
Yeah, he says
equivalent
Cleveland.
to Cleveland.
It'd be nah, because it could only be in Ohio.
Mm.
Literally only in
I
Ohio.
thought we weren't doing
Uh,
that. I thought we were avoiding that.
I tried. But I
Uh,
mean, it's true. It could only
so yeah,
happen.
literally,
This movie could only happen in Ohio if we're being real.
literally only in Ohio.
like, like realistically, where else?
But no, he so stupid. So he
Howard the
does.
Duck hits the gritty.
He gets sucked through this wormhole through space into, and there's a voiceover too, a voiceover narration, and it's like, in the beginning
What's
there
that?
was
Right.
Howard
Yeah,
the Duck.
he gets sucked into a prism that turns into the title card.
It's
Yeah,
the
that was
obelisk
fucking dumb.
from 2001. He gets sucked into the 2001 obelisk and then falls into
Yeah,
Cleveland.
and he turns into a baby.
Turns into Cleveland Brown
Right, he turns into
from
Ohio.
Family Guy.
He turns into Ohio.
Yo,
Like the Japanese thing, like they say, like Ohio, like it's like it means like what up or something.
I don't know. I don't speak Japanese,
I
but
don't, yeah, I'm not familiar. I watch when if I watch like anime, it's like dubbed. I don't do the
yeah, we're gonna be watching some
subtitles.
dubbed movies maybe for our next week, but that's a little
Right.
tease.
Maybe. Yeah, just a little edge.
Just a little Easter egg. Get
I
it?
don't, I don't, I don't get it.
Egg. His planet was shaped like an egg.
So where are we in the? So he gets sucked to Earth.
He's just now landed
Him
in Ohio.
and his chair, I guess, or he just landed in a
He
different
landed in a
chair.
different chair.
Yeah. So he lands in a chair in an alley, gets harassed by
Which why
some
didn't he
weird
land in
80s
his chair?
punk goons. Maybe it was his chair. I wasn't really paying enough attention. It could have been.
That would be.
Um,
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't think it matters. I don't think that shit fucking matters. But he's the 80s punk goons are harassing him in the alleyway.
Well,
He
they're
runs into
harassing Beverly.
No, I think that's later. I think this is when Beverly's performing in like the shitty dive
Uh,
bar. She got the shitty
oh yeah,
manager. So
no, everybody is
he
harassing him. Yeah, like
yeah,
he's
so
getting
he runs
chased.
into the dive bar concert, and they're all like, "Oh, get this fucking freak out!" Oh no, they think he's a kid, so they kick him out because it's a
Right.
bar.
That's a
They're
theme
like, "Get
throughout the
out of here,
movie is
kid!"
people thinking Howard the
Well, yeah, I
Duck is
mean, it
a
looks
kid
like
in a
a kid.
costume.
He says he's wearing like he's got to get kids clothing. He's like
Oh, this is a
he's a
perfect
talking duck.
time to talk about the fact that Howard the Duck looks just like Macaulay
He
Culkin,
does. He looks like,
which I meant
yeah.
to
Now you said
Google.
that at the beginning. I didn't see it, but I'm
Howard
thinking like when did Macaulay Culkin exist?
Macaulay Culkin would have been around at this point. Like
Would he? I don't
I'm
know. Like
wondering
I'm
if
trying to think.
it's
Like
intentional that they made this
I
duck
can't imagine
animatronic.
it was. I feel like maybe Macaulay Culkin just kind of looks like a duck, like a
We're
humanoid duck a little bit.
maybe
Have the AI make that, Jamie?
Jamie have Vistaprint pull that up. I can't find
Um,
anything. Ab-
no, I have to imagine you won't find anything, but that would be interesting.
I found one tweet just saying Howard the
So
Duck
you're
looks
not
like Macaulay Culkin.
so you're not the only one, at least.
Right.
That's something. All right, you keep talking about the plot. Let's see what this fucking dog barking.
There's a few
Ooh.
different examples online of people being like, "Ah, Howard the Duck looks like Macaulay Culkin." It's really strange, and just go, and it's more when his face is moving. So watch a few clips from this movie maybe, and you can kind of see the Macaulay Culkin influence. But he definitely does look just like Macaulay Culkin. So there's this in the plot. Back to the plot. There's this woman named Beverly, and she's performing. Right, she's in a band. She's a singer. Howard the Duck was a singer. We see he was in a band called Howard and the Ducks or something. And so he's on Earth. This lady's performing. Howard's being chased around. It's like a nice little classic chase around montage kind of thing. Like he's running around, running about, doing his own thing. You know what I'm saying? Um, and he's being just harassed. So he decides to hide in this trash can, a la Oscar the Grouch. So he climbs in the trash can, and he goes to take a nap. And he's there. He goes to sleep, and he's there. It's peaceful for a while until, um, out of the out of the music place where they're playing the music, where they're singing the songs, where they're sing-songing, as it were. Um, comes Beverly, and she's being harassed by some goons who are trying to assault this woman. So she's being gooned, she's being harassed, and Howard the Duck beats them up, which is kind of like the beginning of their relationship. Howard the Duck beats up these goons, the goons get beated. After after the beating of said goons, they kind of kick off this friendship. They start talking a little bit. She's a little freaked out. Howard says, "Where am I?" And she says, "Oh, you're in Cleveland." And then once that's determined, Howard the Duck goes back home with this woman. And this is when me and Daniel kind of me and Daniel started to realize at this point that something funky was happening between Beverly
So
and Howard the Duck.
yeah, well, we
She's
kind of
just invited him back to his
what point are we
apartment.
at?
She's
Yeah,
yeah.
okay, so we'd assumed because it's like okay, woman, she's being a character in this. It's an '80s movie, romantic
It wasn't
sex
just
interest.
that. It was the
That's what it was for me.
the
It was,
the
yeah,
way they
she
shot the
they
two of
were,
them, the
yeah.
music, it was like a love ballad, and we'll talk about the
Yeah,
music in
yeah.
this movie in a little bit, but it was like this love ballad that was playing that was really strange.
Right. Howard the Duck had a
I
condom, you
never felt
know.
comfortable. And then yes, so she goes through his wallet after he goes to bed, and she's looking at his ID, and then she finds a condom, and she's like, "Oh,
It's a
Howard,
little duck
you
condom, and
dog,
it
you
plays like, so
dog."
it's like playing the score, which is already kind of like a like sort of romantic, just like lilting little like the whole score in this movie is just weird. It's nothing.
It's
It's
very
generic.
odd. It's very odd, and it's
It's
very strange.
it never really fits. But at this point it kind of does. And then when she pulls out the condom, it plays like that wah, 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 wah,
Yes, it does. I
like
forgot
I'll be
about that.
really trying. Uh, which is strange. This whole
It's
movie's fucking strange.
it's so weird. It's such a weird movie. I don't know.
Um,
It makes me uncomfortable anytime the two of them, and
yeah. So there's the
you
weird. There's the
missed
whole.
the credit scene of this, which is them kissing.
Oh yeah. Well, they show that in shadow form.
Right. Well, this
The
is them
the
like full. It fades to
right,
black right as their
full on
mouths touch, but
smooch,
you
full
can
on
tell it's a
Marky Mark ape
smooch for
girl.
sure.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't. Yeah, but anyway, so they're back in the apartment.
Right. Is this the condom scene? Is this when they
I mean, yeah, the
he like
condom
passes
scene.
out
Yeah,
and
he
then the
goes to sleep, and she searches through his wallet.
right. It's weird, but I get it. I'd do the same.
Right.
Talking duck shows up. He's got a wallet, you know.
Right. The duck has a wallet. You gotta see what if he's got any
He's got
cash.
a duck. He's got a duck dollar bill, a
He's got a
duck
duck
bill.
bill.
Yeah. It's got George Duckington
George
on it.
A. Duck Marrow.
Okay. Um, then what happens?
Oh, what happens? What happens? What
Have we
happens?
got to
Oh,
was
yes.
we got to
So
the villain yet?
no, 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 no. So
Oh,
Howard, they wake up the next morning, and Howard basically wants to get back home. That's his plot. How do I get back home?
right, right.
So Beverly puts Howard in a trash bag and takes him
Right. Takes him to the
to
science place.
yes, it's like a weird science museum, I guess, but scientists work
Yeah,
there. It
it's a
feels more
science
it's a
place.
history museum though cuz
It's a science place. It's whatever it
they
is.
do
It's a
science
science.
there.
It's yeah.
And so they go in, and they start meeting with a scientist, and he's the most obnoxious person ever to walk the face of
He
planet Earth.
sucks. He's really annoying. He's some stupid dork with glasses. It's just like it's meant to be like the funny, quirky character, but
But I hate him.
he's annoying. He sucks.
He's
Yeah.
the worst.
Even Howard the Duck hates him. Like it's meant to be the point that he's like annoying, but like a funny kind of annoying, but he's just annoying.
Yeah, but I hate him.
Uh yeah, no, he sucks. But it does make it fun when Howard the Duck just Howard T. Duck just tells him to like fuck off and shit.
Oh yeah, no, he just keeps talking wet
Uh
on this man for minutes.
yeah.
Like for
No,
minutes,
it's
he's just wet
it's
talking this
great.
boy. And so they storm out. Turns out he's not even a scientist, he's a janitor.
Right, right.
So
And who
they
how did annoying guy know like Beverly what was there?
I don't think they
Like they
ever
just
explained it.
it was just they just she knew of the science place and he
I
just
I know, I think they were
stumbled it. Oh no,
friends.
I feel like he was just random guy because they just like they walked into his office and then he ran out screaming, went to tell like the comical board of executives sitting around a table, and then he was
Well,
like, ah, never
which
mind.
come to find out, the reason that
Which you
that
know,
scene happened was to foreshadow the fact that he wasn't a scientist.
right,
Like they're trying
right.
to be like, "Oh, I've got this discovery. Oh, wait. I'm not a science man.
I'm a janitor.
I'm a janitor."
I'm
So this movie sucks.
annoying. Yeah. Um.
And then it's the worst scene in the movie where Howard and Beverly. It's the most
Oh, this
pointless.
is the
They could have shaved 20 minutes off the runtime without having this scene happen, and the movie would have been better for it.
yeah.
Beverly and Howard get into some fight, and it's pointless. It's like the whole. It's just that it's that
It's
generic
the
movie
sad
thing.
the yeah the character is is sad for a moment and has to have some realization that makes them happy again, and then
Right. So
the plot
Howard
can
Howard yells
progress.
at Beverly and he's like, "Oh, I got to get a job now. I'm a duck. Got to get a job." So he goes to the unemployment
Right.
office
He works.
and then gets berated by this worker at the
Yeah, then
unemployment
was the
office.
woman working at the unemployment office doesn't seem to have a problem. Well, she has a problem with the fact that he's a duck, but doesn't see it as strange, just sees it as another reason to berate and insult him. But then she gets him a job at like a strip club kind of brothel-ish place. Which doesn't last long. He gets kicked out for being a duck or whatever. Um,
Yeah, it's for sure a brothel because you see people. I mean, you see people making love, like straight
right.
up, and so it's got to be more than just like a strip
It's
club.
yeah.
I don't know. It's
It's a
weird.
very very progressive strip club at the very
It's
least, you
it's the
know.
same. They did the same thing in Deadpool. This movie's like Deadpool. This movie's Deadpool.
Yeah,
It's as good as
kind
Deadpool.
of. Some would say
That's what we need. We need the
not many.
Deadpool 1986 Howard the Duck crossover. That's what we need. That's what cinema needs. That's what we need to save the
Who's we?
MCU.
You speaking French?
That's what we need to save the Marvel Cinematic Universe is the Deadpool Howard the Duck
Right.
1986 crossover.
True. You think he'll be in Deadpool 3?
No.
I think so.
I don't think Howard the Duck will ever be a main character in film again.
Well, I don't think he'll be a main character. I think he'll be in Deadpool 3 though.
Maybe.
I think he'll look exactly like this one, the 80s one. I
Oh,
think
maybe.
he'll just show up and we'll just say quack foo and then
And
get
then
fucking
and
he'll get
then
like shot in the head and
yeah,
explode into
and then
just like a bunch
Deadpool
of
will look at him
feathers.
and say, "Oh, kid, why don't you go back and be home alone?" In like the in
Right.
Ryan Reynolds' voice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why don't you go back to Duckworld? Oh wait, that's actually what it's called. Oh, you're from Duckworld? Why don't you go back to Egg World? Why don't you go back in the egg, Duck man?
Why don't you go
And he,
hop back in? Why don't you go eat some eggs, Duck Boy? That's what he'll say, and
that's
then the audience will just
a little
erupt in
too far.
laughter.
Right. And then Deadpool walks in.
And so he pushes his boss into a vat
Uh,
of poop.
right. Yeah. There's a whole little silly like Three Stooges. He's like little thing. He's shitting and farting all over the place.
It's a vat of poop. He pushes him into a vat of poop. Get it?
Uh,
Which once again, it's like okay, adult setting, adult movie, ha 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 ha. This is
then
made
he's
for
in poo.
adults. Oh, let's push the guy into a vat of poop. It's like it's
Right.
such a weird. This movie's so weird tonally. I
This
kind of
movie
hate
is
it.
weird.
I liked it when we
Yeah.
finished it, and now talking about it, I hate it. Is
It
that
it's
weird?
it's no, I get it. This isn't a movie
You
that you can
stop
talk
there.
about.
You can just stop there.
Yeah,
This
this
is
isn't a movie.
so the
No, but
boss
like
is in a vat of
it's
poop.
not. Yeah, he's in a vat of poop, and the duck is fired. He's kicked out into the street in the alleyway. Now
He
he's
quits,
homeless.
right? He's not fired. He
Does he
quits.
does he quit?
I
I
think he
don't know.
says,
I
and one
like I
more
just
thing, poop
I
boy,
zoned
I
out.
quit.
Yeah, yeah. I
And this is where the
whatever.
movie begins to just be the worst for the next like 30 minutes, and then it picks up again.
Right.
Actually,
This
no,
is
this part's not bad.
I don't know what happens next other than him being homeless.
What he goes back
Uh,
to Beverly at this point, and that's when he
is this when
fires
it gets
her
weird and
manager. Yes, this is where things get
oh, okay,
very
yes,
uncomfortable.
yeah. No, he bitch makes the manager because it's like another one of her shows at the shitty dingy dive bar. Manager is like talking to the scummy manager friends. He's like, ah, yeah, this stupid bimbo. She's just good for making me money, and I'm not giving her any of it because I'm a sleazeball '80s manager, and I just take advantage of women. Yeah. And then Howard the Duck walks out. He's like, hey, don't talk about her that way. That's not cool. And then they're like, you're just a fucking duck. What are you gonna do? And he does quack foo and he beats him up. And then they play the weird adventure Indiana Jones rip-off fight music that's not like Indiana Jones fight music rip-off. It's just Indiana Jones music that they
Yeah,
consistently
we and
play
we
in their
haven't
fight
really we
scenes.
haven't really talked
It's
about
weird.
the score of this movie.
No, we've mentioned it a bit, but
We talked about the
it's just
love
weird.
score, which is it
There's not
really
much
feels
to talk
like
about is
if
the
I
thing. It's
searched up
like
score and found a YouTube playlist
right.
and then used that to make a fan film worth of music, it's that.
What?
If you gave me Dalton Barrett
And who are
eight
you?
nickels, I'm the
Oh.
savage now. If you gave me eight nickels,
Oh.
if you gave me eight nickels to make a film score, and I could rip off anything I wanted, this is what you'd get.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it
Mm-hmm.
sucks. It's horrible. It's not good in any
Mm-hmm.
capacity, in any way, shape, or form. There's nothing good about it. There never has been anything good about it. There never will be anything good about it. It sucks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's this movie. That's
Mm-hmm.
Howard the Duck. See you next week on
Yeah, but it's
Bro.
pretty funny though, because he's like a talking duck, so
Right. And sometimes he
that's
insults
pretty cool.
people.
Yeah, and he does so anyways, he does quack foo,
He quack foos the
beats up the
foos.
managers.
He qu-
Yeah, he quack foos the foos. He quack foos them quack foos. Um, he's like, hey, fuck you, you're not her manager anymore. I'm her manager.
he
And
stabs
then
this
he
man through
becomes her
the
manager.
earring.
Yeah, that was really cool. It was like a shish kebab like poker thing.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
kind of because first the guy
I think
tries
it
to
was an
stab the
ice
duck.
pick.
Probably an ice pick. Yeah, I don't think a shish kebab thing would be metal.
And not at a
Um,
bar either.
well, no, it was like the.
The bar.
No, wasn't it the weird? It was something at the Cajun sushi place.
No, that's
I
later.
guess
We're not there
is
yet.
that are we not at Cajun sushi
No,
yet?
they did mention shish kebabbing Howard the Duck at the Cajun sushi place.
No, because that was the same. I
No,
thought that was the same
no.
because he used that same
We
ice pick,
haven't
didn't he?
even met. We haven't even met the villain yet.
Right, we haven't met the thing from the thing yet.
Who is in the Cajun diner?
Right, right. Yeah, I guess that is. Well, I digress. Stabs him through the earring. Bitch makes him
Right.
not girl's manager anymore. Now her manager is a duck. All the band girls love him. They're like, "Oh, Mr. Duck, you're so cool. You saved us from the sleazy manager. Thank you so much. You're my hero, Howard T. Duck." And then
So they go back to the house and then they have
bestiality.
sex.
Yeah.
And
Um
it's horrible and uncomfortable.
but not really. They don't really it's maybe implied sex at the most.
It's well, no,
Or no,
they don't have a
it's not
chance
even. It's
because
not
they get
even yet.
interrupted.
They would have fucked, but the thing from the thing comes in.
Right. And he looks like the thing from the thing before he gets horribly disformed. And
Yeah.
I can't
Well, he
explain
always yeah.
why.
He just kind of I think
He looks like
it's just him.
the actor who plays the villain in this movie, and he's not the villain yet, so I guess spoilers. He
Right,
looks
whatever.
like he looks like the version of the thing that like took over that one dude's head, and it's got like all the necks, and its neck is really long with the spider
Right,
crab
right.
arms. I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Maybe. But anyway, so they get interrupted,
Yeah.
and it's this guy's a scientist, and the scientist boy and whatever. They all walk in and they're like, "Hey, we
They're
tested
like,
your
"Oh my God,
feather,"
this is right." They're like, "Hey, what's up? Oh my God, you're having sex with a duck. This is disgusting. Why are you doing this?"
and then nobody
And
cares
also
anymore.
this is an alien duck, by the way.
Right.
Um,
That's when they start
what
to explain like what's happened. So the humans,
we get exposition dump. It's science with people, I guess these science people, because they have access to the laser
yes,
space thing. They were doing laser space testing, shooting lasers, quantum some bullshit into
they were
space
trying to shoot it
to
somewhere to basically
transport
like,
matter,
oh, let's
Star
trans.
Trek laser beam kind
Yeah,
of
well,
thing.
they were like, hey,
Like
let's teleport a rock from space to Earth, and so they
right,
missed
right.
and shot Howard the
Yeah, and they
Duck
hit
instead.
Duckworld. Yeah.
It's not just Duckworld. They shot this duck
Right,
specifically.
Howard T. Duck in his living
So
room
they go to
with his duck
they decide to go
horn.
to the lab so that they can send Howard T. Duck back. But when they get there, an
Mhm.
accident has happened, and we see a man horribly fried and burned and whatever. and the doctor
Right.
is
Yeah.
missing, and then he just pops up. He's not missing for very long. He just kind of pops up and he's
Yeah,
like,
there's like a big blast and then he's not there and then some stuff happens and then he's back, but he's acting all funky and he's like talking in the third person and
he
shit.
talks like this. He says, "I am the
Right.
Dark Overlord of Earth."
Right. It's just a weird little guy.
Yeah, and now we're at Cajun Sushi Diner, which is such a
Yeah,
strange.
yeah. So they what's their what are they where are they bringing him? Because they
Well,
just like stop at Cajun
they were just
Sushi.
running. They were just running away from the police,
Right. Yeah, cops show up and because there's like a terrorism explosion at
and
the
they're trying to
place.
arrest Howard T. Duck.
Right, right. He's a talking duck. He's a freak of nature. He's a monster. He should be put
Well, they
down.
assume it's a
He's an
costume.
abomination that should be killed.
They assume it's like a
Um,
terrorist costume type beat.
the mark of the beast, the devil in human's clothing.
Sure, sure.
Maybe.
But no. So then they get to this diner as they're running away, and the guy has over the course he's gotten progressively more disgusting over the course of the drive.
Yeah, he starts he getting a little more grotesque. He's like all sweaty, and then his skin starts getting a little gross. His hair gets more and more crazy and gross looking.
His
But
eyes turn
it's all relatively
into a
slow.
blue PNG glow that's put
There's
over.
yeah, there's varying degrees of quality and effects on his I mean just typical 80s. Sometimes
They're
it looks really cool cuz
they're
it's
all
industrial light
quality.
magic. Like it
It's
sure,
just
definitely. It's just there's you can tell some is just like okay, stock eye
explosion.
blast thing. Yeah, like
Stock full
let's
size
just
explosion scaled
let's
down.
put a lens. I will say the explosion eyes were really cool and quirky. That was different. Them doing it twice felt lazy, but that was different. It was just like his eyes just like exploded and then shot fire out.
Right.
It was stupid, but it was a little different, you know. But then yeah, there's the ones that's just lens flares and then he shoots lightning or whatever. It's like fucking 80s, you know.
He's Palpatine from Return to the Jedi.
He's Palpatine, he's 80s wizard alien monster guy.
So the
So they're in the diner, sushi, Cajun,
egg.
taters, egg world.
Well, Howard the Duck
Um
gets served eggs and he freaks out, and so he gets attacked.
right. Yeah, the special here is breakfast, just it's like a country breakfast. It's just like eggs
It's
and
normal
grits and
diner food,
sausage.
and they're at a
Sure, but
diner.
it's a place called Cajun Sushi, which is already weird and surely some
Well,
kind of strange
it's
comic
called like
reference.
Joe's Diner or something,
Well, yeah, it's
but
called that, but then it's the like the thing under it says like Cajun Sushi or
correct.
something to that.
And then everyone in there is just a white
Yeah, but
person wearing a
yeah,
an
just
outfit that a
some
hibachi
definitely
restaurant. Yeah.
racist. Yeah.
So they escape. The cops show up. Oh no, they don't
Do the
escape.
cops show up? No, it's
Yes,
the
the cops show up
goons.
here because this is
I thought no,
where
I thought they just fight the goons. They definitely fight the
no,
goons
because this
first.
is
There's
yeah. Well, they fight off the goons, and then the thing from the thing kidnaps
he
Beverly and
goes
drives away in a
yeah,
semi
well
truck.
first he goes all thing mode. He starts like glowing and shooting full lasers. This is when he does the explosion eyes.
Right,
Then he oh yeah, the goons were gonna chop up Howard like a little duck like a Christmas story. They chop off the duck's head.
right.
And they sing in the racist Asian accents. And then what's his name? Dark Overlord comes in and he blasts
The
everyone.
thing from the thing.
The thing from the thing, Palpa thing, he saves the duck, blasts the goons, but then kidnaps Beverly, takes her to the hills, but actually into a semi truck and it crashes into a bunch of shit and almost hits Howard, but he goes underneath it and then
And this is where is his name
oh yeah,
Philly? What's his
this
name?
is when the cops show up. Philzy is what he calls him.
Philzy.
We assume his name is just Phil, and that's just like an affectionate
But I'm gonna
lover's
call him
name.
Philzy.
But Philzy is the only name we ever heard him called by. Maybe he's called Phil at some other point. we weren't paying the most attention.
No.
Uh, I'm using the royal we, meaning me.
Filzy Filzy also had been arrested.
He was, yeah, this is when the cops show up.
There's a
He's
good
gotten
bit
arrested
here.
for some reason. Oh yeah, we see where Howard's hiding, and it's the chicken farm. It's like a little,
It's a bunch of
what
little
is it? What even
plastic
is it? It's like a little,
chickens.
yeah, bunch of various like sculptures, statues of chickens and birds and whatnot, and he's just in like a little chicken pose.
And then
And then he
and then
waddles over to
Filzy's like,
the
"Hey, get a rock, get a rock. We gotta bust this window out.
right.
Let's get a rock." And so
And
he's
then
like,
yeah, as I think we were having some little discourse as this is happening, you were like, wouldn't the door just be unlocked? And I was like, I mean, it's a cop car. They'd probably lock the doors to the back. And then he immediately Howard just opens the door and there's
but what's really
some
funny is
stupid line in the thing. He's
as
like,
he's
oh,
opening the
maybe we try
door,
the door. He's like, maybe we try the door first.
yeah,
As fucking dipshit is climbing through
climbing
the
through the
window.
front window.
Which how did he get that? Don't cop cars have like
Not in
fucking
this
gate?
movie.
Well, clearly, but
Which it's funny because that means I'm as smart as William Yuck.
what?
Well, William Yuck, the director of this film.
Ah, right, right.
Um,
And George Lucas.
and so then Howard and Filzy find a plane.
Yeah, well, they find like a weird like go-kart homemade crop duster thingamabob, the doohickey mobile.
They find
Um,
wings for Howard because his evolution
he's yeah. Oh yeah, we also got a lore drop on Howard the Duck's Duckworld
evolution,
evolutionary chart,
which every school
which is
duck already knows this.
of
So
course, which that was fun, I guess. Um, so they fly in the doohickey mobile
right, they do the
to
hickey.
the cops are chasing them. They escape in they do the hickey. Um,
Sure, sure.
then they fly all the way to the science building. They kind of just like bounce off the ground really
Yeah, they don't
for
get very
for
high ever.
alternating points of yeah,
Yeah,
semi-flight,
yeah.
semi-pro.
Film show.
Right. That's a reference to something.
Yeah, I don't
What is
know.
that?
It's probably some sucky podcast or something.
Right.
So they get to the science lab. Doctor Thing, um,
hmm
he's
He's looking
strapped
like
Beverly down.
Einstein
Yeah,
at this
he's
point.
gotten real
She's
gross.
yeah, Beverly's tied up in the hills.
And it's
George
classic
Lucas is a
80s gross
pervert.
too.
Yeah,
It's
that
80s gross.
too.
So he's slimy now and he's just
Right, he's
real
slimy,
oily
he's scabby,
looking. Yeah.
he just looks just generally greasy,
They
like
don't make them like this anymore.
right, just straight dipped in oil, you
Yeah,
know.
they literally spread Vaseline on his face and then hit roll
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
camera. And I miss that. That's like my favorite 80s
Right.
effect is how every creature just looked disgusting.
Everyone was just gross and slimy and just yucky, you know. It was a
Yeah, but
different
then on
kind of
top
yucky.
of that, the special effects
Cause
looked like that too.
right, right. Uh
Cocaine.
yeah. What?
Um, well, you know, because everybody was doing cocaine in the 80s. So yeah, Beverly's tied up on the table, and Howard and Phyllis come in and um untie her. Oh,
They
and then no, he
no they
blows her up with a
don't.
big
They
gun.
I don't think so.
Blows the
This
thing up with a
over
big gun.
thing. Yeah, there's the gun that's mounted on the another new Duckmobile. He
Right.
drives that, whips that around, shoots and blows up Dr. Thing. Then they save Beverly. Um
And then it cuts to Doctor Thing,
and
and
then
he's no longer possessed, and he's like, "Oh, I don't feel the evil in
it's like,
me.
oh geez, what happened here?
The Dark Overlord must have escaped." And then that's when
Right.
Howard the Duck goes, um, he's right behind me,
It's
isn't
like,
he? And he turns around.
guys,
Yeah.
that might be a
And
problem.
he turns around, and the coolest looking monster ever rips through the
Oh,
floor.
it's so sick. I mean, the design itself is is fine. It's like a bug-looking alien
It's
thing.
see, I
Like
think the design is pretty cool too.
it's cool. I liked it had like a really weird back that is like how they show it was almost like it like uncurled like a roly poly,
Yeah,
or
well,
like
and it
some
had
sort of
like
prawn.
he had like teeth
It was
all up the
very
top of his bridge line on his
yeah,
nose.
it was very like sea creature looking.
Yeah,
It was
like
a critter. It was a critter for sure.
if you mixed the thing from the thing with a sea creature.
Yeah, like what's the anglefish where it's got that like fucked up jaw on the
Yeah.
but without the light.
Like a gar. You know, a gar.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But
that's
yeah, it's but
freshwater. So,
right.
I mean, that's
Um,
wild.
but anyways, it's fantastic stop motion
It's so it's apparently a technique.
on
I looked
an
this
already
up.
fantastic looking critter.
It's a a process called go motion, and I don't really understand what go motion
Interesting.
is, but go motion is basically just
Nah, man, forget the stop motion. We got that go motion now. We never stop, bro.
so go motion is basically just stop motion, but they create
But they
parts.
going.
They create parts for the middle to replicate the
Uh,
look of motion blur. So like stop motion, you
okay.
move bam
I
bam
don't
bam bam
understand
bam,
that,
but
but
when you move something, it doesn't blur because it's stop motion,
of
right?
course,
So
because
in
it's
go
just one
motion,
frame by frame.
instead of just like, oh, I'm gonna take this little puppet and
So
move his
they
leg, I'm gonna replace
so they
his
take a
leg with something that looks blurred,
right.
and so it
Okay.
replicates that look
So
as
it's
it
a
moves.
physical thing that's gotcha. That's wild. That's way more intricate than I would have thought, but
Also, way more interesting than the rest of
it's
Howard the Duck.
yeah, and
So,
also yeah, it's Howard the Duck is the weirdest part
well,
of
this
this
was
that
the
this
movie. This
incredible
was the movie that was
monster
gonna
is.
pay for Skywalker Ranch.
Right. This was gonna get George Lucas out of his debt hole.
Yeah, so Go
And it
Motion is a
didn't.
variation of stop motion animation which incorporates motion blur into each frame involving motion. It was developed by Industrial Light and Magic and Phil Tippett.
Makes sense, yeah.
Um, I'm trying to see what
Yo, Filzy?
movies. Oh, okay. Um, the AT-AT walkers in Star Wars Empire Strike Back
Okay.
were Go
Okay,
Motion,
yeah.
which makes sense. The Dragon and Dragon Slayer Dinosaur
Sure,
was
sure.
done. There was a sequence in Young
Right.
Sherlock Holmes, Howard the Duck,
Uh,
The Golden
Ah,
Child, Batteries Not Included, Willow, okay, the Coneheads
right.
movie, all of the Indiana Jones installments, and
Okay.
E.T. the Extraterrestrial all used Go Motion. With the release of Jurassic Park, Tippett Studios abandoned Go Motion and fully converted its team
Hmm.
and equipment to CG computer graphics.
Word.
So, this is like the last predecessor. Gently bumping or flicking the puppet before taking the frame produces a slight blur. However, the care must be taken that the
Gotcha.
puppet does not move too much, that props or set pieces were not moved. But yeah, super interesting.
Huh.
Um, I also like that it was like, oh, we've got this really cool technology, and then it's like, oh, computers.
Right. Oh, now we have CGI. Now we
Yeah,
can do this with buttons.
right. I would love to see Go Motion used in a modern movie. I feel like you
Mm,
could do this
that'd be
so well
cool.
now.
Yeah, bring back Go
Bring
Motion.
back Go Motion. Put petroleum jelly on a plate of glass in front of the
Right.
camera lens, then cleaning and reapplying it after each shot. A time consuming process, but one which creates a blur around the model.
Yeah, I see why they don't do it, you know?
Yeah, it sounds
Makes
like
sense.
the worst process, but it looks great
Sounds
in
sounds
Howard the
like hell.
Duck.
It looks dope on this dope looking freak monster bug thing and
Right. Howard the
Howard
Duck.
T.
Howard
Duck.
T. Duck. But so they defeat him. They shoot him with a big gun, and then it cuts
They
to
yeah, they use the same gun and blow him up and
yeah, and it cuts to like the play, not
uh,
the play. It's the concert from Beverly, and they're singing the
oh
Howard the
yeah,
Duck song.
Howard the Duck is a good manager. He made this shitty band that was performing in dive bars popular. Now they're performing at it's like a real concert venue. It's like a big ass concert crowd and fucking party time. Howard the Duck, Marty McFly's on stage. He does the
Right. And then this is when you said,
um,
"Hold on, I'll be right back in a minute." And then Howard and Beverly started
mm,
making out on camera.
right, yeah.
So that was
Glad I missed
uncomfortable.
that. So that
So
just happened.
so that's Howard the Duck. It's a
Yeah,
weird George Lucas project that was meant to pay for Skywalker Ranch, not Skinwalker Ranch, but
and it
Skywalker
didn't
Ranch, and then it
didn't pay for
didn't.
either of those
It
actually.
didn't. So then George Lucas decided to sell a little project he had been working on to Steve Jobs called Pixar. So this movie is
Right.
single-handedly responsible
This
for
movie,
Pixar.
yeah, this movie's failure,
Gave us
and also I
Cars
guess
too.
Skywalker Ranch is the reason that Cars 2, the greatest film of all time, exists.
There's
So
no Toy Story without Howard the
shout
Duck.
out, what's this guy's name? Fucking William Hyuk. Shout out William
Right.
Hyuk,
William Hyuk.
my boy.
Hyuk. So like
Yeah,
this
you get
this
it, it rhymes with duck.
golly, I hate this. The tone is bad. It doesn't work. Actually, I take all of what I'm saying back. This movie
Okay,
doesn't
I
work in any
don't.
capacity. Okay, it's
No.
not very
Eh,
good.
no, it's a very good bad movie. It works
That's
in
where I was
that
getting. It
capacity.
doesn't work on any logical movie like
It doesn't work on any
capacity.
real capacity.
It's not good.
In any real standard of
It
ranking and
sucks.
judging a film, by being enjoyable, it's nothing. But
But
to us,
to me,
when you put it to our standards of a a bad movie, the garbage that we consume both on and off camera, it's just a fun little romp. I mean, it's a talking duck,
I mean, it's a talking dog.
It's a talking
No,
dog.
I will say
He's got that duck in
out
him.
of all the movies we've seen, maybe not all, but out of a lot of the movies we've seen, this is one
This
of
was
my
one of the more
favorites.
fun ones. Yeah.
This is one
I
of the
feel like
better
we're
bad movies we've
continually
seen.
saying that, but also
I didn't say that last week.
I feel like I did.
Oh, I hated Captain America. This is
It's
I don't
better
know,
than
the
Captain
Winter
America.
Soldier compared to Captain America 1990.
Sure.
Like it's
Guess.
like really good. That like this is the Dark
Right.
Knight
Yeah,
compared to
I
Captain
get it.
America
I get
1990.
the yeah.
This is uh, uh, Howard the Duck.
Mm,
But the music's bad.
true.
The duck looks like Macaulay
It
Culkin, which is
sucks.
strange.
It's That's fun. The thing is, we said this while watching it, maybe also while recording. It's really slow and stupid, and even when it's not slow, it's still stupid.
It's always
But
stupid, but
it's
sometimes it's
it's
slow.
always but it's always fun, even
Right.
if it's not the way it's supposed to be, which it never is.
I
I don't
think
know
it
that any enjoyment we got from this movie was the way this movie was meant to be enjoyed, if that
probably
made
not
any
other than
sense.
like Howard being Howard.
I guess his general character we did like. He's just a fun guy. I mean, he's just a guy. Like
He's just the
he's a
dude.
talking
He's
duck.
a talking
He's just
duck.
he's that dude,
He's got that duck in him. I'm done. Are you done?
Yeah.
Cool.
Final thoughts, or that's it?
Nah, that's
We
it. We
said
just
them, I
gave
guess.
them. Yeah, we're
Cool.
done. This is it.
Fuck it. Duck it.
Next week are we doing 90s Fantastic Four next week?
I guess so.
The
Yeah. What else
unreleased
was on the?
Fantastic Blade.
Yeah, unreleased. Is
And
Blade
we'll
the
finish it
one?
with Blade
We may as well. That would make, because it's, you know,
because it's
the
Blade.
last one of the era. Right.
We'll see you guys next time when we come back with Simular Primular.
His name is Duck. First name Howard.